So we are obviously moving on to Egyptian mythology. Sekhmet is actually a god I've known about for a while. So it's pretty cool to include her, and there's some pretty neat parallels with Sekhmet and vampires to an extent. She was the Eye of Ra, and she would just like eradicate entire towns, and then she would just drink rivers of blood. And she had lost so much control at one point. I think it was Ra, maybe some other gods, tricked her into they dyed a bunch of beer red and told her it was blood, and she drank that and then passed out. And they're like, okay, let's chill a bit. So she's a pretty neat goddess. So it's kind of fun to get this again. Like I said in the last one of these, I'm curious how much like mythology and all these creatures are going to exist. But yeah, the main thing, Eleni's a vampire now. So this would be great to get any feedback for like, what would the cost of this be? And how is this different from what Menander has? I have some ideas how this is going to be different, and obviously the price that he has to pay for this. But I'm curious if the book, which is over here, tells us what we have to do. So real quick, let's do the character sheet. I'm going to put this memory into the first experience slot of memory 4, this experience, I should say. With Eleni near death, I give her the gift of life from a ritualistic scroll of Sekhmet. That's a pretty important one, so I'm going to try to keep that one kind of locked in. And where I think memory slot 2, when I need to start erasing them, that may be when that goes. Beyond that, we have to move, Eleni is no longer mortal. She has moved into the immortal category. And I needed to check a skill, and I'm going to check medicine. And that kind of makes sense is because he's been studying medicine. He's been working on medicine through the Roman practice of Galen, and then just trying to get the best he can from any apothecaries and whatnot. And he got as far as he could with that. So he seems to be giving up on science like Dr. Frankenstein and going back to his roots of God-given abilities. So that's checked. So I don't know if that's ever going to come back, but that is checked. So let's go. All right. Prompts. We are on prompt 26. So here we go. Okay, we have 3. So got a 5 and a 2. So 3, we're at 26. I think that brings us back to 29, right? Weren't we at 29 before I came back here? You're exposed to the monster, flee to far. Yeah, okay, we're back to prompt 29. So that's what got us to Alexandria. Now, here is the second listing in this prompt. You disguise yourself with an entirely new persona. Okay. Take an old memory and modify it to make it contemporary and bland. Create a skill based on blending in. Okay, this is actually kind of cool because this is going to be good for Eleni as well under our new names of Dorian and Lysandra. So we just need to create a new skill and take an old memory, and it can't be one from my diary, and I need to make it bland and allow us to fit into Alexandria. So, okay, this is nice. This is kind of like how we are going to just kind of give a bit of the status quo of what our existence is in Alexandria before it ends up getting flipped on its head and I have to do awful things. So, yeah, okay, that doesn't seem too bad. Yeah, let's create some skills and modify some memories.